The title of the work actually comes from a biblical story based on this character, Lot, and his family trying to make their way out of a city. He was asked to not turn his head to look back at the city while it was falling apart, because when he did, or anybody did so, the body would become crystallized into salt. When I was making this work, the imagery sort of like reminded me of that story. I'm interested in the whole idea of finding an image while you are making a painting or making a drawing. Sometimes the drawing would surprise me. What I planned, it would go somewhere else. So it's that kind of relationship that I have in terms of marking and drawing and making forms and shapes. There is always an interesting tension between what I desire and what happens randomly. I'm always interested in suspension, getting a kind of image that in a sense suggests the now. You know, drawings and paintings are not moving images. They are the still images. So I try to make them move. I think every drawing changes. Some drawing, at some point, they will reveal themselves to me that they are complete. And it's probably to do with the way they move in a certain way. They suggest that movement. And most of the time, I'm looking for a kind of new imagery, a kind of new construction that's happening in the work. I see them as almost like living things. In a sense, these are fragments because they deal with a moment in time where I start making a work and end. And it deals with a certain decisions that I make from the beginning to the end of the work.
"21 years ago, I moved in Singapore. The idea of moving and being dislocated all the time was one of major interests of my art and my personal life, and everything was somehow around that issue of being dislocated. One of the first things when I came in Singapore, and it's presented here, was about home. Idea of home, where is your home? Where you stay, where you live, or where you were born, where are your roots, and all these questions. So I developed kind of system to don't be nostalgic. So I forgot about many things intentionally, and I was always covering up this kind of issue which will push you back. But I couldn't avoid this, because I'm not interested in narratives so much. I'm interested more in language of painting. I was using different kind of methods to achieve these ideas that I was dealing with. When I moved in Singapore, I didn't speak English, so dictionary is my best friend. Being so long friend with dictionary, I realized it's an extremely valuable book, but without narrative, you can't read it. And I was always thinking, how should I do dictionary using visual elements, using shape, colors, lines? And that's how I created kind of a visual dictionary. Many times in my 40 years career, I was going back and trying to improve what I did 30 years or 40 years or 20 years ago, and trying to move on same subject matter or same issue in a different way, with my new experience, with my knowledge. And that's how I always going back to my old issues.
I'm a Korean artist based in Singapore. I use a technique of a complex and repetitive taping, layering, and wiping to create the colors, texture, and also improvise the visuals. Triptych W was originally made for a long corridor-like space with its glass and metal beam architecture in mind. You can see the painting actually from outside, and then you can go inside to see the detail of the painting. Color is very important in my work. White is used as a dominant color to communicate, conceal, and confuse the ground color of black, blue, and green of the triptych in relation to the white wall behind. Usually viewer, when they look at the abstract painting, they start to look at the title first, try to find what is in the title, within the painting. I should not give any directional title, because instead of a viewer experience his or her own interpretation, they start to only look at what I try to put it. When I make a painting, I think about process of time in relation to artist, artwork, and audience. Sometimes I use the word trinity of art. The purpose is to engage the viewer subjectivity and encourage his or her individual interaction along with the format of the work and the surroundings.